that I include Sugar Booger in here. So I, along with Sugar Booger, are giving you some of the hottest sports talk in the city, in the nation, in the country. And thank you for joining us. And
I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, so what's up, man? How you doing?
Hold on, I had to give us some juice. I had to give us a little bit of juice.
What kind of juice? You gotta let the audience know, because they don't know what type of juice we talk about.
I had to give us a little juice in the headphones so they could hear us. No, man, I'm excited to be here. I will tell you, looking over today's topics, I'm glad that we have Sammy Sharp on with us, because I know you're going to talk about baseball a lot, and I'm probably going to doze off for a minute.
No, you're going to be talking about it. Baseball. You just got general questions, so you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine.
Let me just say this. If the Indians are 8-16 in spring training, wake me up when the World Series starts. I'll watch the two teams that are in it. Because if they're playing like this all season, I'm really going to be disinterested. I only like baseball when the Indians are winning, and I really only like baseball when they get to the playoffs.
Okay.
I am such a casual fan.
So when the Browns went 4-0 in preseason, was preseason champions, and that didn't translate into So did you not care about being preseason champions?
That's football. I would watch the Browns. I'd watch the Browns go 0-16 and enjoy the season. I still
did?
Every game.
Because you're a partier, that's why.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Those of us who are kind of like normal and not the party guy like you, we were kind of wallowing in our misery while we passed free tickets tacked to telephone poles and still wouldn't grab them.
I like the social aspect of fandom. That's what I will say.
Okay, that's a good time. Yeah. So also we got Sammy Sharp from the MI6 Sports Network, host over there. So super excited to have him on. Yeah. Sammy, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How are you guys doing today?
We're doing all right.
Sammy, I'm very glad that you're on with us today so you can talk. Rachel needs somebody to talk baseball with, and I am not the one for that. I'll talk football and basketball with her. But, Sammy, when it comes to baseball, I rely on our guests to keep Rachel entertained when it comes to baseball.
Sammy, you see what I got to deal with, man?
Yeah.
You see how my co-host who wants me to make sure that I include him in that updated intro, and I ain't mentioned nobody else, which I should have been better about that. He gonna leave me hanging when it comes to the Cleveland Indians, which is his representative of his hometown sports team.
Because as soon as we start talking about Draymond Green being the best defensive player ever, I'll be right back in the conversation. We just got to get to that bullet point, and I'm gonna hop right back in.
Just like being so conceited, but you say you're the best defensive player of all time. Yeah. Like, and stats do nothing to support that. Right. So, Sam, why don't you tell the audience a little bit about yourself?
I grew up in Akron, Ohio, Northeast Ohio. I have a Browns Steelers tribe family, big Cavs fan.
Wait, hold on. Wait. You said Steelers?
Sammy's family.
Yeah, we have a lot of Steelers fans in my family.
That's
Northeast
allowed?
Ohio.
Yeah.
No, it's not. Go on, carry on. I'm sorry, I didn't interrupt our guests. I'm sorry. You said something that really grabbed my attention. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Sammy. I'll allow it. Go ahead.
Okay, we have a lot of sports fans in our family. I currently reside in Western PA now. It's living life out here. It's been great out here in Western PA.
Sammy, it sounds like you might be picking up the Western PA accent a little bit. Are you familiar that you're going to the dark side with the Western PA accent? Do you feel it?
Oh, no, I don't feel it actually.
It's coming on.
Might be becoming a Yenzer.
It sneaks up on you, Sammy.
Because they have a very distinctive accent, though, that you don't really hear in most places. And I remember, the opportunity me and Cleveland Kate got to go and cover a Brown Steelers game. Yeah. And we're sitting in the press box, and every few seconds, the guy is saying taco. And I'm like, they about to serve tacos in the press box or something? Is that going for lunch today? Because, they feed you in the NFL, which is great. Yeah. And they actually had a decent spread. I'm kind of surprised for Pittsburgh. But the dude was like, taco. And he was really saying taco.
Oh, taco.
But it sounded like taco.
85.
But yeah.
They all talk like the Beatles, and every sentence sounds like they're asking a question. Oh, he's making a taco.
Yeah.
Like, Which one are you, Ringo or John? I don't know which Beatle you are.
I was like, I love tacos. They're delicious. So I was super excited, but they didn't serve tacos. But it's really distinctive because one of my friends who's actually going to be in town this weekend, she lives in New Mexico, but her husband is from Puxatawny.
Oh,
So
yeah.
for those who are familiar with Puxatawny,
Yes.
where Phil is, who
Yes.
see his shadow every year, he has the same accent as well. So
Right.
yeah, like they were speaking exactly the same, and he pronounced his stuff the same. So
I got a lot of
Sammy,
family from the area down
Oh, you
there,
do?
So you know this. I've got a lot of family from the area.
I try to
so
ignore that.
support it.
I try to ignore that.
So
fact.
that's how we get these split. That's how we get these split families like Sammy's.
Yeah. So Sammy, growing up, in Northeast Ohio, what is it like living there for you in Pittsburgh, enemy territory?
It was a big culture shock whenever I realized that Pittsburgh wasn't a football town. It's
You're
more of a
not?
hockey town. I moved in 2010 before the Penguins had their dynasty the past couple of years. And I thought, I'd be going into Steelers football land, and then here they're bigger Penguins fans than they are
Yeah.
Steelers fans.
Really?
And speaking of Taco is a great restaurant in Pittsburgh.
Oh, it is.
yeah, it's
Is
wonderful.
it tackle or
No,
actual
it's not
taco?
It's actual taco. Great restaurant right there in Pittsburgh. But Sammy's exactly right. My cousins down there are fanatical. Well, they're big in all the sports, but they're Penguin season ticket holders, and they dip their toes in the other ones when they get tickets or whatever. But they're season ticket holders for the Penguins. The Penguins. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. So let's go ahead and get into it. So Ryan, I'm gonna need you to, keep your eyes and ears open, for a little bit. I know you can chime in on some of this.
I'm wide awake.
But Sammy, want your overview about what's going on right now out there in Cactus League. Right now, the Indians are 8-15 with a 348 winning percentage down there in the Cactus League. I know it's too early, and everybody will say, preseason means nothing, spring training means nothing. But what type of vibes are you getting right now from what they're posting right now as far as their win-loss percentage?
Well, right now it's not really good. Anything good about a losing record. But I'm not going to invest too much into it, seeming how I'm pretty sure the Pirates have a winning percentage and the Pirates have a $40 million payroll with a irrelevant team. So as far as the Indians go, my tribe, I'm not going to invest too far into it. I'm more excited to see whenever they get back in the opening day a couple weeks from now. And
next week.
Start playing.
April 1st.
Next week. Yeah. It's
April 1st. It's coming up soon.
Yeah.
It's coming up soon. But you mentioned Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh is right now at 12-10 with a .545 winning percentage right now. So they're actually looks like 5th in the Grapefruit League standings. So actually, they're not doing too bad compared to what the Indians is doing. So to me, a little bit about the Indians' rotation. What do you think about this pitching rotation that we have? So it looks like, obviously, Shane Bieber is going to go ahead and get that opening day start. You got Aaron Savali, number 2, and Zach Plesac, number 3. But I just have had some concerns with Shane Bieber and how he's been pitching lately. What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, definitely. He had a great start of the season last year, and then started slowing down the end of the season. I'm hoping he can pick it back up this season. It would definitely strengthen our bullpen and for what we need. And I think outside of Shane Bieber and the first 2 pitchers, it's a very pedestrian bullpen. I think we're going to benefit very strongly on the AL Central being a weak division this year with the Tigers and the Kansas City Royals having down years this year.
Yeah, but one of the teams that you got to contend with is the White Sox because they peaked a little bit before, but that's been some work in progress for them, though, to get to where they're at in this point, and the Minnesota Twins as well. We know that the Twins have been giving us fits. So, those are the 2 teams that are going to be a concern. And even sometimes the Royals, got our goat. But, obviously, and even the Tigers beat us. We were going for that record of, almost like 25, 26 consecutive wins over a team. And they broke that. I guess, they was like, we got to act like men around here and actually get a win and, not go into the record books. But, I don't know if this team has done enough to surpass the Twins in this division. And, the White Sox are coming on strong. But going back to Shane Bieber, you were, right on that assessment, how his pitching went down. And then, his absolute worst game was in the playoffs when it counted.
Disappointing there. How much this season do you think relies on Tito? Because last year he wasn't around much, man. He was gone a lot. He was sick, was out, wasn't around. And some people said they don't think it made that big of a difference on that team. I absolutely think that made a huge difference on that team because love him or hate him, that's a good manager. And they needed leadership because they're young. That's a young team. And they need somebody in there to be that steady presence. And they didn't have that. So how much of an impact is Tito's health going to be going down the stretch here?
I'm hoping it's not too much of a factor. I'm hoping he can come back and, be a very integral part of the team. Yeah. And I'm hoping that, this is, like you said, this is a very young team. I'm excited to see how this young core develops throughout the year.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm looking at the lineup right now, and outside of Jose Ramirez, I'm not, that impressed with the batting lineup as of right now. I'm hoping, Cactus League is not showing us too much of the Indians this year, and we come back stronger and stronger as a team overall.
I get the feeling that defensively, I feel like the infield is going to be okay defensively. I don't know how the outfield is going to respond, but I feel like this could be one of those teams that might not have a lot of firepower. But if the top three in the rotation have good years and we get a couple of those back end guys to perform, we keep scores low. I feel like this might be a sneaky good team that doesn't score a lot of runs, but stays in games and is competitive and finds ways to win with kind of a small ball mentality. So I feel like that could be, and a lot of that comes down to managing strategy too. But I feel like this might not be the most exciting team to watch, but could still be a successful team.
Oh, I agree with you 100%. I don't think I could word that better, actually.
But it's crazy how he talk about how he ain't a fan of baseball, but he just broke all that out.
Well,
what? You be faking the funk.
I like
you be
baseball.
faking the funk.
I know. I like baseball. I don't dislike baseball, but I just wish they played like 40 games instead of 162. My ADHD kicks in around game 30, and I start to get the tremors over that. So I do enjoy baseball.
Okay, good. Why you front? I'm like, wait, did you see the way I looked at you? Like, hold up, is he playing another joke on me again?
Relationships are about mystery, Rachel.
So after Shane Bieber, what are your thoughts about Zach Plesac? Because he got tore up a little bit yesterday against the Giants and gave him 3 home runs. What are your thoughts about him? Because to me, he was one of the strongest pitchers, and I believe that he should have been number 2 in that rotation last year. But, alas, he wasn't, and, there were some issues. But what are your thoughts about Zach Plesac and Aaron Civale?
I kind of like Zach Plesac as last year. He had a pretty decent year last year as far as a pitcher goes. Let's see here. He got a 2.28 ERA. That's not bad. I'm trying to. Hopefully, he can step up his game in Cactus League. I'm hoping that it's not peek into what he's going to do. But if he can do what he replicate the success he had last year, and we can have a very good starting 2 pitchers, I believe that this Indians team could contend for a wild card spot. But that's a strong could, because I don't think that they are going to be contending for a wild card spot when it all comes down late in the season. Personally,
Woo! That's a bold prediction right there, saying they're going to be bad. Yeah. So before we go to take a quick break, though, what are your thoughts about Tristan McKenzie? Should he be that number 4 pitcher, and then you have Logan Allen as number 5 or Cal Quantrill as number 5? But what are your thoughts about Tristan McKenzie being number 4?
I'm hoping Kyle Quantrill can come out in as that 5. I like him as the number 4 pitcher. McKenzie being the number 4 pitcher personally.
Okay, and Shug, what are your thoughts about Tristan McKenzie? Tall. He need to put a little bit of weight on. But he's
Snoop Dogg. Yeah, Snoop Doggish out there physique wise,
or maybe early CC Sabathia until he blew up.
Yeah. It's been a long time since CC saw the tops of his toes like that. He's exciting, and he brought excitement to the team last year. You have to be careful falling in love with rookie pitchers. We've been burned so many times through Jared Wrights and so many guys along the way that we were totally committed to, we got all excited about. And pitching is one of those things where once guys get a rotation with you and they see you the next time, it gets a little bit harder, and especially the next season, it gets a little harder. Real quick stat before we go to the break here. Recent survey by NewJerseyOnlineGambling.com found out that the Browns fans are fourth, or Indians fans are fourth in the league in drinking alcoholic beverages at stadiums. So we have that to hang our hat on. We might not finish fourth in the American League standings, but we did finish fourth in people that like to have a good time at the ballpark. And I think there's something to be said for that.
Bring back 10-cent beer night. I'm waiting for that night to come back. We'll be right back and listen to Her and Huddle, WOVU 95.9 FM.
Cleveland State's Wolstein Center is opening, and appointments have.
WU 95.9 FM. This is the girl Rachel Hill, the first lady of sports, in studio with Sugar Booger and special guest Sammy Sharp, 6 Sports Network, talking some Cleveland Indians. Remember, you can always give us a call, 216-271-0959. Yes. You can always listen to us online at WOVU.org. And we're on StreamYard now, too, so you can get at us on StreamYard as well if you're watching on Facebook and all that other good stuff. So, Sammy, we had just left talking about that rotation a little bit. So what I wanted to ask about you was, moving on to the infield, what are we going to do at first base with Bobby Bradley? Are we going to start Bobby Bradley at first base?
The way it's looking, it looks like we are. I think that the Indians this year, if the Indians are looking good this year, they should make a move on strengthening that and then strengthening their batting order in general and getting a second star in there. I hope, we do make the playoffs, but we'll see throughout the season what they do as far as the infield and the addressing the weaknesses on the infield.
Well, what do you do about Jake Bowers? Because he was, he's in contention as well for first base between him and Bobby Bradley. There was a lot of excitement for Bobby Bradley coming up. And, he kind of laid the egg, but I think that there were so many expectations on him.
Right.
He probably was nervous, he went back down, and now it's an opportunity. And one of the things is too, you kind of got to make this exciting because, you lost, Santana, you lost, Frankie, and maybe you do give this kid a chance to bring a little bit of pop to the lineup.
They need them. They're lucky that it's going to be limited capacity at the stadium. Because I can't name one guy besides Ramirez I would pay $15 and leave my house to watch play baseball. So
Really?
they need Bradley to get it together and put something in. But I think there's something to be said, like you said, for him going back down, getting a taste, and then going back down and making adjustments. I think he's going to be okay. I think he's going to work out this year. And it's good that they have Powers if there's an injury. I mean, you got to have depth too. So they're kind of in a situation where they don't have two superstars at first base, but they got two guys that can play and compete. And I think Bradley's going to be fine though. He's going to be okay.
Yeah, and then you got Cesar Hernandez at short, Andre Jimenez. Cesar at second, Andre Jimenez at short, and Jose Ramirez at third. Franmil will be the DH. And that's
I
what
need him to get his life together earlier in the season too. I sat there and watched him for about 30 games last year and was mad at him every night. Then he caught on a little bit and had a good second half, but good grief, don't start out the way he did last year. We need somebody to bring the bats.
With the COVID though too, and
Yeah.
that played a little part because he wasn't following those protocols. What do you think about that infield, Sammy?
The infield for the Indians, I think they're a pretty strong group overall. Like I said, I think they could add a super star into there, and I think
Ain't
a star,
nobody coming here.
quality player.
Everybody leaving.
Yeah, right now it is, but hopefully, if they're contending, the Cleveland will want to bring in pay some money to go in for maybe a run, because this is a really young group that we have this year. If they develop well this year, they could be adding in to possibly win now as well as in the future, because that's what they're set up to do. I think with the roster the way it's built.
Sammy, let me ask you this. More likely to happen this year with the Cleveland Indians, they land a top infield star to help beef up that infield, or somebody on the team gets suspended for 10 games because they go get a haircut during the COVID era and then come back to the team. Oh, wait, that already happened. We've already had it. I am more worried about them not, I don't know that they're going to get a big name free agent, but I just want them to behave themselves and not have us in the media for not doing things like following COVID protocols and making a fool out of us. We're already fighting an uphill battle. We don't need distractions like that this year. Forget the free agency. Can we keep our guys from going out to dinner with their friends in their hometown when we're traveling this year? Rachel, that's the struggle.
Yeah, because we already had a breach of protocol
already.
So, we need the players to take it seriously.
Yes.
And they're not bubbling like the NBA. And, we already had the issue as well last season.
Yes.
So, I don't know what it's going to take for these athletes to get it together, but that sense of entitlement is something serious, and sometimes I think that they just don't care. What are your thoughts about James Karanchek being in that bullpen? I really liked him last year, and he had some really good stuff coming out the pen. What do you think about that?
I like him. Very strong pitcher coming in. He didn't play a lot. He started he had 1 and 2, but he had a very good ERA of not too very good, but all right ERA 2.6. But if he can develop this year and get better throughout the year and have a late season push, I think we'll be good.
And one of my concerns is what's going on out in the outfield.
Yeah.
I mean, last year there was at times we were looking like bad news bears, and it's just something about the Cleveland Indians and defense, and that has been one of the things that has been an Achilles heel. And it happened last year, especially when we had that almost 9-game losing streak, because we were doing great for contention and having a better, almost didn't have to play for the wild card. But it was just bad, especially out in the outfield. So it looks like Eddie Rosario is going to start in left, and there's 3 different candidates for center: Ahmad Rosario, Bradley Zimmer, and Ben Gamble. In right field, Josh Naylor. Yeah. Yeah,
Center
so
field.
that's good. And Josh Naylor, who I like in that pickup that we got,
I
is
like Naylor, too.
expected to start. But Bradley Zimmer, man, what's going on with that dude?
I don't know. Good question. That's he's all right. He's batting at 300. I think right now what they should be looking at is also Oscar Mercado and Daniel Johnson, looking into those two more. Johnson right now I think is doing pretty good, 368 batting average, and to strengthen up that batting average, hopefully, as far as Cactus League, I know the Pirates have had some. I hate to go back to the Pirates, but they've had some couple players break out in their Cactus League. Hopefully, they give Johnson more time, and if he breaks out in this Cactus League, makes into the lineup.
Yeah, and I was a huge fan of Oscar Mercado as well. And, he just, I don't know if I would say he played so badly, and then he was sent down to, I don't even know if he's going to be on this opening day roster, but, it's just like he performed really well for us the year prior. And then, it's like, okay, do you hang with these kids or you just shuffle them back down? But he almost got a full season in with us.
Yeah.
So that move I still kind of question today, but I ain't Tito,
Right.
So
ain't that the truth? I feel like though when I look at this team and you look at things like on-field errors and stuff like that, I think a big part of that is a leadership thing too. Guys need somebody out there to be that steadying force. And then the team, like who leads this team? Who's their on-field and clubhouse leader? Is it Ramirez? I don't know. I just they're so young at every position. Everybody is coming up. Like I think that's one of those things where they need somebody to step up and keep that calming force of leadership on the field to let them not. I felt like sometimes last year the Indians were a team that one thing would go wrong and then 30 things would
the
go
bottom
wrong.
falls out.
Train wreck every game. Every time they booted a ball, it became a comedy of errors and they stopped hitting, they lost their focus, and all of that comes with on-field experience. And I feel like there's guys that got to play last year that are going to be able to come back and play a little bit more this year. There's some people that came into the system last year via trades, like you said, that are going to be more familiar with the team. I kind of have a feeling that it's going to be, and I hate when seasons start like this, but I think they're going to be a little rough at the beginning, and then I think they're going to steady the course. And I don't know that they make the wild card, but I think it's going to be one of those seasons where they at least give us baseball that means something late in the season. I really do. I think they're going to be in that race. I think this team's going to get a lot better the more they get on the field and play.
I'm just having a hard time seeing it because I'm just trying to understand where these runs are going to be produced from, other than Jose and maybe Franmil if Franmil's doing well, possibly Josh Naylor, but you got to have more contributions.
Other
too.
teams got to score too, though. We got to hope that we can play some defense. And that
we don't even have our 4th or 5th. We don't even have that determination yet. So I mean, and then tapes out on Shane Bieber. People study those pitches. They know,
Yeah.
You weren't with us that night that we actually had Ellis Burke on, but he told a story about Barry Bonds.
Did you just name drop Ellis Burke on me? Oh, you weren't here when we had Ellis Burke on.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. You were doing your thing. You were out doing things in the community, which you won an award for.
Yes, I did.
But he just told us the story about Barry Bonds, how Barry knew, I think it was John Smoltz, how he was going to pitch him, and and I'm gonna hit a home run off of him. And literally, John Smoltz pitched Ellis exactly how, not Ellis, but pitched Barry Bonds exactly how he did, and Barry hit a home run off of him. So now that tape is out on Shane Bieber and Zach Plesac and all the other pitchers, and they're going to be able to pick them apart too. So
my favorite story about a pitcher that I've heard recently was they were talking to Trevor Bauer, and said that he pitched. When he pitched in the preseason, sometimes he would spring training. Sometimes he would close his eyes and pitch just to see if he could do it. That's how seriously they're taking spring training. Let's not worry about the Indians just yet.
And Trevor Bauer's last appearance, he threw a ball 400 yards into the stands.
So it happens.
I ain't taking advice from Trevor Bauer no time soon. And on that, we have to take another break. You're listening to Her in the Huddle on WOVU at 95.9 FM. We'll be right back.
One of the hottest
So
radio
much
stations on your
coffee that
phone.
I was talking
Yes,
about the high
that's
school
right.
basketball.
Girl, Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports, and I'm in studio with my boy Sugar Booger.
Yes,
And we have special guest Sammy, who is going from MI6 Sports Network, Sammy Sharp, who's going to stay with us a little bit. So we got our Indians talk out of the way. So, opening day is 1 week away, though, April 1st. So very exciting. So we're going to do some more, Indians talk leading up to that. But, hopefully they turn the season around because it's not looking good. And, just with the loss of Francisco Lindor, you talked about, who was a leader in this locker room, and it was Frankie. And now Frankie's gone. So, hopefully Jose can step up and, be that role model. And he's one of the longest tenured Indians at this point. So, hopefully he can step in and do that. And also, Shane Bieber, you got a Cy Young Award winner in that, in that locker room too. So
pitchers are weird.
I don't think he's as weird as Trevor Bauer was.
Well, there's a lot of people that aren't as weird as Trevor Bauer.
Right. So I consider him kind of normal in that spectrum, that pitcher spectrum, kind of approachable, kind of friendly.
Whereas Trevor Bauer is on the spectrum. That's a different thing.
Past the spectrum. I don't know how approachable. But you know what, though? And I tell people this. If you have a chance to read that Sports Illustrated feature on him that came out about 2 years ago, you will have a different understanding of Trevor Bauer than how he's portrayed in the media. One thing, he got really candid about being bullied. And, as a person who was bullied myself, I know.
Him on the radio.
Well, but that's the thing.
Sorry,
you didn't read the article, did you?
I did.
Okay.
Sorry, Trevor.
So when you read the article, you'll get a different perspective of how he became the person he is and what drives him, what motivates him, and things like that. So I didn't get a chance to talk to him because he actually, when I read the article, he was traded. So I didn't get a chance to talk to him about it. But, I would have walked up to him and told him, I had the opportunity to read that. And, I experienced the same thing that you did as well. So I understand you. I feel you. I'm
sure.
listening to you. I don't know if I would have said all that. But let them know I read the article and I get it, because I've been through that myself. So, but so it's very interesting next week starting off. But, let's move on to some NFL action. So the NFL has announced some of its plans for the draft to be held pretty much over there by Mall C or whatever. Yeah. And then they're going to have something like right there on the lake. Is it like the Port of Cleveland? Or
it looked like they were having like the actual stage, like right on the lake.
Yeah.
The actual draft stage. The backdrop is going to be the lake. I hope they put some blue dye in there. So I hope they get the color right on that lake before they bring a bunch of people down.
Everybody knows our lake is not blue. It's
"They're gonna
dirty
do something in
brown,
there."
and that's just it. When I see people at Edgewater, no shade if any of y'all swim in Edgewater.
Yeah.
But Edgewater has not touched my body since I was like 6 years old because I didn't know any better.
Right.
And I'm surprised people's skin doesn't slough off when they come out. And they come out looking like, a creature from the lagoon. But one of the things about that NFL draft is, now with a pandemic going on, they want people in certain sections to be vaccinated. And I'm kind of torn between this. I get it. I understand. But I just don't think it's fair that to be able to partake in activities, you have to be vaccinated if you're kind of scared about being vaccinated. And it's obviously not something you have to participate in, but there's still like a lot of concerns out there. And, the vaccination isn't going as quickly as to be expected or we would like to. So I just think that's kind of a lot of pressure being put on fans. What do you guys think about that? Sammy?
I think it's going to turn political on who's wearing masks and who's not wearing masks.
People are going to be wearing masks. So, but the actual vaccination itself, like you got to get that injected into your body before you can come and partake in these activities.
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that again? My computer's acting weird.
Oh, no problem. I was just saying, I think, everybody's going to be masked up, of course, but to actually require people to be vaccinated and show proof of vaccination before they can partake in stuff, it's just a little, how I feel about it. Just a little, it's hard to describe, but it's like we're at this point in society now where you're the vaccinated or unvaccinated. Like it's almost kind of discriminatory. What do you think about that?
I definitely I like how they are getting vaccinated. If they are getting vaccinated, I hope that they do that as safe as possible. We don't want any COVID breakouts. Yeah. In-person draft.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Sammy. You were breaking up a little bit.
I've had my second vaccine dose, Rachel. So
have?
Yeah, and I don't hang out with this not vaccinated. Forget you unvaccinated. Give me 6 feet of mask and a vaccine. I want none of you around me, unvaccinated heathens. Get vaccinated. I am a vaccine elitist. If you're unvaccinated, I no longer want to socialize with you. I'm above all that. No, this is the new thing and the new normal. I'm so tired of hearing that. But it's not just sporting events. It's going to be concerts. It's going to be plane rides. It's going to be buses. It's going to be everything pretty soon where vaccination is going to be a requirement to do a lot of things in society. And, I guess you got to pay the cost to be the boss, right? If you want to go do things, if you want to, and you're right. I see what people are saying where it's not fair for the government to mandate that. And I understand why people are kind of feeling a certain way about it. However, for me, I want to go to ball games. I want to go to concerts. I want to get on a plane. So give me the vaccine. And if I pay the price for it, if it ends up being, listen, if the vaccine ends up being my cause of death, well, then that's just a risk I'm going to have to take. If that ends up being the conspiracies are all right, and it's population control by the New World Order, and that's why we're getting a virus and a vaccine, and that's what they have to put on my headstone. Here goes Sugar Booga, the dummy that took a vaccine so he could go to ball games. Well, then so be it. Put it on my headstone. But I tell you what I'm going to do in the meantime. I'm going to go to ball games and concerts. I'm going to enjoy myself. And that's the way I feel about it.
What is the New World Order?
The Illuminati,
Do you believe in that stuff?
No, I don't believe in that stuff. No. You know what I do? There probably is a secret society ruling all of us. I don't think they're looking at Cleveland going, we got to get rid of about 30% of Cleveland. And the way we're going to do it is we're going to orchestrate a pandemic, and then we're going to orchestrate a vaccine that's going to kill them, but not right away. You don't kill them right away.
We got to make our money
We got to
first.
wait a little bit till we get the money back and till everybody feels safe. And all of a sudden, we're going to flick a switch and turn on the 5G, and the 5G interacts with the vaccine, and they all fall out like roaches. Stop it.
You know, I'll be knowing sometimes because, you know, I just be hearing what people say, and I'm like, what are they talking about? Like, I just get up, I go to work, I live my life. Like,
Gibberish.
there's a secret cabal of, you know.
I can't even keep up. But what I do know is, like I said, if that is the way I'm going to go out, at least I got to see a couple concerts and ball games before
Yeah.
it got me. I'm willing to take the risk.
Yeah, I'm just, you know, wondering at that point where, you know, it's going to be mandated everywhere in order to be able to do anything. You have to carry your vaccine cards. I do plan on getting the vaccine.
Yes.
I believe in vaccines. I'm pro-vaccine. I like not having polio and measles
it's
and all
worked
that
out
other
really
stuff.
well for me.
And recently, polio was just recently eradicated worldwide.
Yes.
And that's a lot of things people don't understand, that polio was still a problem
Right.
in, you know, third world countries and
Right.
around the world. Like,
Right.
it just wasn't an issue here because of vaccines.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm pro-vaccine. I'll be getting it. I just don't know
But you
when.
know the New World Order has a little vial of polio in the freezer just in case. Just
To
in
break
case
it
we
out.
get out of pocket, they're gonna throw the polio back in.
Yeah, like, it's too lame around here. So
Right.
we're gonna mix things up a little bit. But one of the things I wanted to talk, and normally we don't really talk NHL because we do not have a team here, but one of the things that I had caught today, and I thought was real interesting about NHL referee Tim Peel was banned
Yeah.
for a hot mic call on a Nashville penalty. So pretty much he has said that he had wanted to call a penalty on the team. He said, you know, it wasn't much, but I wanted to get a blank penalty against Nashville early. So that was called on a hot mic, and it was turned in by an NHL team. I don't know if it was the Predators that turned it in. It might have been the Predators who actually turned it in. And, you know, so he was subsequently banned for life from the
Yeah.
NHL. And also, I guess that he has been one of the NHL's most maligned officials, with fans using social media to critique his calls over the years. And in 2015, he was removed from officiating a New Jersey Devils home game
Mhm.
after being photographed at a bar drinking with a sports reporter. So the
Dude,
funny
they
part
They
was,
work in the same office.
oh no, but it said the reporter was ESPN's Greg Washansky, the writer of the article, who just wrote the article. So he was caught drinking with him.
Mhm.
So is drinking with a reporter bad for an official? I don't understand how that's a conflict of interest, first and foremost.
I don't know if you're given details about the league, or if I guess there's probably something maybe you shouldn't do. Maybe it is taboo. I don't know. What if it was the mascot, not an official? If he was out with the Pittsburgh Penguins mascot, if they work in the same office, it's like one of those ESPN commercials where they all work in the same office. They're just going out for a little cocktail after work. And we do that all the time. I don't know, but what I do know is that officials. Speaking of conspiracy theories, right? Every team, every fan of every team is convinced that the officials are against that team.
They are, especially Kevin Brown.
Sometimes they are. And it probably is true because officials are human and humans have emotions. And when you're given the power to control the outcome of a sporting event, I would imagine that it's very hard to contain power sometimes like that. If somebody is, we want referees to be like judges, right? We want them to be impartial and fair and always do the right thing. But if a New Jersey Devil called me out my name and insulted me and berated me and gave me a hard time, or the coach or the manager of a team gave me a hard time, I would be looking for a way to give him a penalty. I'd be mad. That's human emotion. I'd be like, oh, guess what? Now icing.
You have to be impartial.
No, you don't.
Yes, you
and
do.
he just proved it.
It's your job to be impartial. He had issue, and that's why he's banned for life.
Yeah.
And probably won't even be able to do a Pee Wee League game ever
His
again.
problem wasn't.
But
his
was it
problem-
worth it?
His problem wasn't it wasn't impartial. His problem was that he ran his mouth. If you're impartial and you don't brag about it, you get away with it and you're fine. Tim Donaghy, when he was betting on games and impacting it because he wasn't impartial, it's the gambling and the loud mouth that got him in trouble, not the being not impartial.
Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit more when we come back about that because Allen Iverson has entered the chat. So we are going to be right back. This is Her in the Huddle on WOVU 95.9 FM.
So, if I'm fortunate, I have at least 15 good years ahead of me. Years where I can be there for my family.
That's the only reason. If he did that all the time and was a biased ref but just never talked about it, he'd still be reffing right now today. And there's guys right now in every sports league that are the same way that just aren't talking about and aren't getting in trouble. I think that's just the nature of being a referee.
Well, they learned from him. And what happened, but Allen Iverson would say, he felt like officials would target him because he was so cocky and had an attitude, and people don't like that,
They don't, and that shouldn't impact officiating. But you know what? I watch these high school kids, and nice kids that jaw back and talk bad, have bad body language. They don't get the calls. You're not going to get it because the ref has to be your friend, and it's an authority thing. Anybody in authority positions, just like if you got a boss you don't necessarily like, sometimes you got to go in and kiss their rear ends to get the weekend off that you want, right? Like sometimes that's the way it works. That's life. That's the way things go.
Yeah, well, it's turned out because it was a story that Bleacher Report had did that, pretty much the executives hated him too.
Mm-hmm.
So, they were going to do whatever they could to, derail him. And that's just amazing how, they focus on one league. But, Tim Donahue would say, you call a call on Michael Jordan. He like, you ain't supposed to call that call on me. So,
right.
No, he's not.
Right.
But, that shows that players are actually influential because I always say LeBron James is the one superstar that never get foul calls.
Yeah.
And it's really not fair.
He is the first face of the NBA that doesn't get any calls. I mean, Michael Jordan, anybody wanted to change the rule book for Michael. But part of that is because Michael changed the game itself. He took the game in a different direction than they used to play it. So part of that was the natural evolution of the league because of him. When they talk about the Jordan rules, I think part of it was because they wanted to protect Jordan, but I think part of it is also because they wanted the game to be more like the way Michael Jordan played it because it was exciting, and that's why they changed some of the rules too. But when I look at LeBron, he doesn't get any benefits like that. But you're saying now, so Browns fans, if we take it to another league, Browns fans are always upset about the Browns calls, and I know that it looks like the Browns don't ever get any calls. And I know that I've been sitting there watching the games with people, and we say that. But I've also watched games with fans of other teams, and they feel the same way about their team. There are Kansas City Chiefs fans that I am friends with that say,
why are you friends with them?
Well, because they live there. You know what, Rachel? It's okay to be friends with other people.
Not really.
Exactly
like, you need to hang with people who are like you. Like, I didn't know that the owner of Academy Tavern went to Michigan.
There's
I was like, I don't know if I'm going to go again.
There's a whole Shaker, Michigan community.
I don't know if I'm going to go again since he went to Michigan. I don't know if I could patronize that establishment.
Rachel, this is a very myopic view that you have. I need you to open up a little bit. First of all, you live in a little bubble where you don't eat tartar sauce, you don't eat Reese cups, you don't hang with people that go with opposite teams. It's got to be lonely in that Rachel Hill bubble. It's just you and Disney World in a bubble.
I don't like Disney. I don't like that.
See? You don't hang out with Disney people?
No, not really. Disney is a magic. Have you been there before?
Yeah, it's a
magical money sucker.
Well, yeah.
It's expensive.
It is expensive. But,
I don't.
No. I'm just saying, I need you to get out of this bubble of sportsdom right now. So you're not rooting now that Ohio State is out. You're not rooting for Loyola Chicago with the little nun that says we don't lose on Sundays.
I root for the underdogs.
Yeah,
I root for the underdogs. Yeah, but like I'm not as invested in them as Ohio State. Like I'm just happy they can beat the big boys. You know what I'm saying?
My Michigan friend that owns the Academy Tavern, we watched the Ohio State Michigan game together. And every time I would complain about a call against Ohio State, he would complain about a call against Michigan. He felt the same way about the officials. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think no matter what fandom you're a part of, the officials are the bad guy all the time.
They're the equalizer.
They're always going to be.
They're the equalizer.
It's always their fault. You know how the official doesn't control it? If you're wide open on every play, you score a touchdown and nobody tackles you, it's hard for them to call penalties unless they call a holding or something like that. Just beat the other team badly and they can't affect the game. It's close games that officials have the control of.
Yeah, Sammy just joined us back. Sammy, we're just talking about the bad officiating that has been taking place, and we talked about the NHL situation. Did you get a chance to read a little bit on that?
Not the NHL, but I've read a lot about the NBA.
Hey, Sammy.
situation. You hear me?
Oh, Sammy.
You hear me?
Yeah, sorry about that. That was Mom. Sorry about that.
Okay.
We were just talking about some of that officiating. What do you think? What are your thoughts about that hockey referee that was banned for life?
Oh, that's crazy. That is crazy. See me how you get away with a lot of stuff in hockey, and
Right. How does that happen?
Yeah, banned for life is pretty deep.
Oh my gosh, hockey is you can literally punch other people in the face in that sport. How do you get banned?
You literally have a position called the enforcer, where your job is just to go beat up on people. So yeah, but this is official, and it's they have to remain neutral no matter what. And I know we are humans, and I know we have emotions, but as an official, you have to be able to control that.
Yes.
So, but Sammy, we're about to get out of here actually. So I want to thank you so much for being on today, sharing your expertise. Just know you have an open invitation to come on anytime. And, as we get further into this season, we would like to have you on to talk some more Indians. And, we just going to stay prayerful for them because we don't know what type of season we're going to have. So thank you so much, Sammy. We appreciate you being here today.
Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate the invite. Really
all right. And Sugar Booger,
yes.
We keep it locked here. What's going on next?
Tonight we got Radio Silence, WOVU's discussion on mental health. And we're going to talk about mental health in dealing with your boss. How do you stay sane with dealing with a boss that you don't like?
You don't.
Oh, we're going to find a way, Rachel.
You leave the job and go somewhere else.
Rachel, this is a mental health show to help people deal.
I know, but we have to realize that these people are not going to change. So we have to change our environments as well. I'm just saying that's what I would do.
Well, Rachel, this is why you've had 24 jobs in 24 years. Now, this is not the solution. This is why your longest tenure job is 6 months. I need you to stop it.
I don't know. 50 401k at different places floating around. Just saying, yeah, but they say that's why people leaves. It's not the work itself. It's usually, leadership and stuff like that.
Agree.
So everybody make sure you keep it locked right here for Radio Silence with Sugar Booger. He's going to stay on with you. And thank you so much for listening to her in the huddle on WOVU 95.9 FM. We out of here.